Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 25th of January. Every week I'll look at the charts for a few different stocks as requested by you. Just email us at mail@fairmontequities.com. There's a limit of one per person and no guarantee that your stock will be covered depending on the demand. Just make sure you share this video on Twitter and Facebook so we get more requests and more of a chance to uncover some great opportunities. Also, just take note of our disclaimer, any advice is general only. First up this week we have Horizon, AZJ. I'll just move out to a weekly chart. So this is Horizon going back the last 4 or 5 years. You can see that it's been a fairly rocky ride, obviously dominated by this huge drop-off across 2015, 2016. The chart's not looking too good, to be honest. So what you'll notice is after falling from this peak here, it managed to climb all the way back up, went to a slightly new high, but then was sold off quite comprehensively. So often when you see that, you'll see the stock go all the way back to retest the previous low, which is down here near 340. And we're only sort of halfway there now. And you can see on this weekly chart that price action from the last several weeks has been fairly poor as well. So unfortunately, it looks like this one will continue to get cheaper. The next one we have is Goodman Group. So it's obviously had a pretty good run here over the last few years or so. Just looking a bit weak at the moment. So I've looked at this one before. We noticed that there was a fairly obvious uptrend line which was respected by GMG, but that was broken a few weeks ago, and we can see that it hasn't been able to recover. So at the moment it's looking weak. Short term, there's potentially a bit of support around this sort of $8 level, and at the moment it's bouncing off that. But I'm not too convinced yet, and I think what will happen is it'll probably come back down towards this level here, which is sort of around 775. So couldn't be looking to buy Goodman Group just yet. I think we just need to see a bit more of a washout before that one looks attractive. Altura Mining. So this one's had a fantastic run over the last several months. So we can see at the back half of last year had a good run up to a prior peak in November, and then it sort of eased back, and we could see the volume coming out of the stock on the way down, and then it broke the this consolidation and it had a decent rally. So we put this one in our client research that comes out on Tuesdays several weeks ago there, and it initially had a bit of a run, hasn't been able to follow through unfortunately. So far it's come back to retest that breakout level, and at the moment it seems to be bouncing off it. So it looks like we've got a three-wave down to retest the breakout zone. At the moment it's bouncing, which is a positive. It should be able to head higher, otherwise if it sort of comes back up here and forms a lower high, then I'd be a little bit concerned, but at the moment I'm expecting it to rally from here. My Netphone. This one's been trading well for quite a while. This is a weekly chart, just going back the last few years. You can see that it consolidates for a while and then has a bit of a run, consolidates, and we could see this run up here is quite bullish. Nice moves up, small corrections. At the moment it just seems to be struggling. Potentially there's a reversal here. If I just go back to the daily chart, you'll see that there was a few down days, and the stock hasn't managed to recover that in the last several days. So I'd still be happy to hold on, but I think if it starts to, probably a bit of support here. I think if it starts to breach this, I'd be a bit concerned and be looking to take a profit. But you know, this stock does tend to recover pretty quickly. So one to watch out for. If it breaks down here, maybe it's worth getting out. Otherwise, worth holding on to. Origin Energy, I've looked at this one a few times. It's done very well. We had resistance near $10. It seems to have gotten close to that mark and fallen short. You'll also notice here on the weekly RSI, it's triggered a sell signal. So despite this week looking fairly positive, I think Origin just needs to use up a bit more time. So it's gone from $7 to almost $10. I'll just go to a daily chart. So I think we just need to see more of potentially a flat consolidation here under the $10 mark, and then it'd be ready to go. So no need to rush into Origin. If you have the chance to, I guess, take profits up here, great. But longer term, I think that there's still further to go. Megaport, MP1. So you could see on this daily chart, just going back the last few months, the bullishness of how it's been trading. So again, I like these big moves up, flat corrections. We could see the most recent consolidation here in the early part of January. And we can see a few days ago it tried to break out and failed. So a couple of days in a row there. But then the buy signal, in my opinion, came here on Tuesday, where it managed to have a good close and then obviously followed through by gapping up and rallying fairly strongly. If we move to a weekly chart, you'll notice that this was the previous high in early 2016. So the shares here have consolidated for a few weeks under that high. I'll just grab a... So if we're just looking at the body of the candles, we could see this consolidation under the high. Initially a bit of price rejection, but now it's pushed through it and it's blue sky from here. So I'd be happy to hold MP1. And finally today, Redflow, RFX. This is a weekly chart, so a big sort of downtrend. Looks like it's getting broken now. Price action's looking fairly positive. Big volume coming in at the lows, and now it's been trading well since then. Just moving to a daily chart, we can see that nice rally off the lows with volume, slight easing back. Have a look at the volume here, it just doesn't exist, which is a positive sign on the way down. Then the volume comes back in on the way up, and now it's pulled back to sit on top of this high, and it seems to be pushing higher again. So, you know, if you like this stock, this is another buying opportunity. In my opinion, it's going to head higher from here. How high can it go? Well, what we can do is look at this downtrend from 2016, 2017. Potentially we could see it retrace about a third of it. So if we grab our Fibonacci tool, you know, potentially around this 38.2% retracement mark. Seems to be some resistance there. Sounds ambitious, but the way it's trading, I think it's entirely achievable. So about 30 cents, currently trading at about 18 cents, represents some decent upside. Well, that's it for me today. Remember, send in your requests, share the video, and we'll be back next week.